The vote in shadows the council chamber was filled with silence, yet the silence was heavier than any noise. Tall pillars rose toward a ceiling carved with ancient symbols of peace. But tonight there was no peace. Representatives of 100 alien worlds sat in their places, their eyes glowing, their scales shifting, their antennae twitching. Every voice had gone quiet, because a single question waited in the air. What should be done about humanity? The Speaker of the Council, a pale and feathered being from the valorous species, raised one wing. His voice echoed like metal scraping stone. Let us begin. Reports have come from across the border. Human fleets are expanding. Their colonies grow fast, too fast. Their weapons are not like ours. Many here believe they are a threat to the balance of the galaxy. A ripple went through the chamber. Some nodded. Others lowered their eyes. A few shook their heads. The delegate from the Uric Empire slammed a claw against his desk. They are not just a threat. They are predators. Do you know their history? Wars that burned entire continents. They wiped out their own kind by the millions, yet they survived. They come from a death world, a planet where everything wants to kill. And now these creatures walk among the stars. If we wait, we will be next. Gasps filled the chamber. The word death world always carried weight. Every child in the galaxy knew the story. Earth was a nightmare planet. Poison storms, crushing gravity, beasts with teeth like swords, diseases that killed in a day. Yet somehow, humans had not only lived there, they had thrived. The delegate from the Lissari Alliance leaned forward, her four eyes narrowing. We should not forget that humans have offered trade, knowledge, even peace. They joined our council. They followed our laws. They are not monsters. Not monsters? The Uric delegate hissed. You have not seen what I have seen. On the frontier, a human ship fought 3 of ours. They did not run. They did not surrender. They fought until only wreckage floated in space. And do you know the worst part? They smiled. The chamber grew colder. Even those who defended humans shifted uncomfortably. In the far corner, silent until now, the representative of Earth stood. A man, dressed in simple black, no bright robes or heavy armor like the others. He had no crown, no glowing skin, no shifting scales, just 2 human eyes staring out over the chamber. He spoke softly, but his words carried across the hall. Council members, humanity has honored every treaty. We have never struck first. We have never broken our word. Yet here I stand, listening to voices that call for our death. Tell me, what crime have we committed, except surviving? His words echoed, and for a moment, the chamber was still. Then another alien rose, a reptilian with scarred skin. Surviving is the crime. You grow stronger every year. You adapt faster than any of us. You take what is harsh and turn it into power. Do you think we have not noticed? Your colonies do not die. Your fleets return from battles where others would break. Even your children play in air too thin for us, in storms too toxic for us. You are too dangerous to be allowed to remain. The vote began. Lights glowed above each delegate as they pressed their decision. Green for peace. Red for war. The chamber flickered with color, more and more red lights burning into the shadows. One by one, species chose fear over reason, survival over hope. The human representative did not move. He simply watched, his jaw tight, his hands folded. When the final light turned red, the speaker's voice cut through the silence. The decision is made. Humanity is to be attacked. Their fleets are to be destroyed. Earth must be broken before it spreads further. The chamber erupted in noise, some cheering, some crying out in protest. A few stormed out. The speaker banged his staff, calling for order, but the chaos would not stop. The human envoy remained still. His eyes, however, told a different story. There was no fear in them, only fire. Slowly he reached to his wrist, activating a small device hidden under his sleeve. A silent signal shot across the void, moving faster than light, racing toward Earth. The message carried only 3 words. They chose war. And with that, the fate of the galaxy shifted. Far away, in the cold docks of Earth's hidden stations, machines older than the Council stirred. Warships that had slept for decades began to wake, their engines humming, their weapons glowing. Humanity had been patient. Humanity had been silent. But now, the silence was broken. The Council thought they had chosen the future. They had no idea they had just chosen their own nightmare. Earth learns the truth. The signal from the human envoy crossed the void faster than thought, racing past patrol beacons and hidden satellites until it reached Earth's command hub. Deep, below the surface, in a bunker older than most Council empires, the message was received. 3 words glowed on the dark screen. They chose war. The commander of Earth's defense force, a woman with silver hair tied back in a soldier's knot, leaned closer. Around her, officers fell silent. They had been waiting for this, dreading this, but now it was real. She spoke in a low voice. "Seal the chambers, begin Protocol Iron Dawn." Alarms echoed through the underground base. Steel doors slammed shut. Hidden codes were unlocked, some not touched in 100 years. Screens lit up across the bunker, showing maps of the galaxy, red dots spreading like fire across Terran borders. The Council fleets were already moving. Above the planet, ordinary citizens went about their lives. Children played in the cities of Mars Colony. Farmers tended crops under the domes of Europa. Traders flew between the moons of Saturn. None of them yet knew that the most powerful nations of the galaxy had voted to destroy them. But whispers traveled fast. The news broke. In fragments, rumors on comms, intercepted signals, hushed conversations in spaceport bars. "The Council has declared war," people whispered. "They're coming for Earth." Some were afraid. Some were angry. But most were quiet. Humanity had always faced storms. This was just another storm, larger than the others. Back in the bunker, commanders debated. "They'll send their fleet straight to Sol," one officer said. "No," another argued. "They'll strike the colonies first. Cut us off, make us weak before the final blow." "They underestimate us," the commander said. "They always have." She turned to the main screen. "Wake the sleepers." Across the system, old warships hidden in forgotten docks came alive. Ships that had been built in secret, disguised as orbital stations or mining platforms, revealed their true shape. Hulls of black iron, cannons that glowed with plasma light, engines older than the Council itself. One officer whispered, "We swore we would never use them again." The commander's eyes were cold. "And now we have no choice." On Luna's shadowed side, a massive hangar opened. Dust rose as a ship the size of a mountain crawled forward, its lights flickering after decades of silence. In the orbit of Neptune, a hidden array shifted, its weapons pointed not outward but inward, waiting for the first invader. Humanity had prepared in silence. They had always known this day would come. Meanwhile, in the outer colonies, the mood was tense. Families gathered in small shelters, clutching their children. Soldiers sharpened blades and loaded rifles. Merchants burned secret papers, evidence of deals with alien traders who might now be enemies. But not all was fear. Some smiled grimly. "They think we are weak," a miner on Titan said. "Let them come. They have never fought a human who has nothing left to lose." The human envoy still stood in the Council chamber. Though the vote was over, he did not leave. He watched as aliens shouted at each other, some celebrating, some regretting, some too proud to admit their mistake. At last, one Council leader hissed at him, "Go. Tell your people their end has been decided." The envoy only gave a small nod. His calmness unsettled them more than rage ever could. He turned, his black cloak trailing behind him, and walked out without another word. Back on Earth, the commander gathered her council. The air was heavy. Every man and woman in the room knew that what came next would decide the fate of their species. One officer said, "If they strike with all their fleets, we cannot hold." Another replied, "Maybe. But we don't need to hold. We just need to show them why Earth survived when 1,000 death worlds did not." The commander raised her hand, silencing the room. "Remember this. Humanity did not ask for war. Humanity did not choose this path. But if the galaxy believes it can erase us, let them learn why even death has never won against mankind. Her words cut through the silence like steel. Every officer rose to their feet, saluting. That night, across the solar system, lights shone in places long thought dead. Old factories came alive. Silent shipyards glowed. Hidden bases that even most humans did not know about stirred awake. Children asked their parents why the skies were brighter. Parents gave no answer, only held them close. And far beyond, in the black between stars, the Council's first fleets moved forward, confident in their power, blind to the storm that waited. The Gijao galaxy thought humanity would fall, but humanity had already begun to rise. The first strike. The stars above the frontier world of Karos burned bright, but in orbit they were drowned by the glow of alien warships. Dozens of vessels, sharp and cruel in design, moved like predators circling prey. Their hulls reflected the cold light of the system's sun. They belonged to the Council's joint fleet, an army of species united only by fear of humanity. On the surface of Karos, human colonists looked up with dread. They had no warships stationed here, only trade, ships and transports. Farmers, engineers, miners, all ordinary people watched the skies darken. They're here, someone whispered. The Council fleet expected an easy victory. They sent a message to the colony. Surrender your world. Humanity has no place in this galaxy. But no reply came. The lead admiral of the Council, a scaled warrior with eyes like burning coals, gave the order. Begin the strike. Erase them. The alien fleet moved forward, weapons charging. Fire lit the void as plasma bolts streaked toward the colony's defense grid. Shields flickered, then shattered. Buildings shook. The ground split. Families ran for shelter. The aliens expected screams. They expected surrender. Instead, they found silence. In the dark between moons, something stirred. A ship waited, hidden inside the shadow of Karos's third moon. It was small compared to the alien fleet, just one vessel against many. Its hull was black, built to swallow starlight, and its engines made no glow. The ship's captain, a human with tired eyes and steady hands, watched the battlefield unfold. His crew waited in silence, tension hanging like a knife in the air. They think we are weak, he said. Let's show them wrong. The human vessel broke from the shadows. At first, the Council fleet did not notice. One ship meant nothing against many. They laughed at the sight of it. Only one, an alien commander sneered. They insult us, but then the human ship moved. It was fast, faster than any alien expected. It darted between cruisers, its guns erupting with light. 2 alien warships exploded before they could fire back. The humans didn't waste shots. Every bolt found its mark. Panic spread across the Council fleet. Impossible. That ship is centuries old, one officer shouted. Then why is it cutting us apart? Another cried. The answer was simple. Humanity had never built their ships to impress. They built them to kill. The alien admiral barked orders. Surround it. Crush it. But the human vessel slipped between them like smoke. It turned suddenly, its engines bending gravity itself. An alien destroyer tried to ram it, only to break apart when the human ship's hull shimmered with hidden armor. Another Council cruiser fired a full barrage. The human vessel's shields flared white, then redirected the energy back. The alien ship that had fired was torn apart by its own weapon. Fear spread like fire. On the colony below, the people who had hidden in shelters now watched from the screens. Children pressed their hands against the glass, eyes wide. One ship, whispered a miner. Just one ship is fighting them all. The people did not scream anymore. They began to cheer. Inside the Council fleet, the admiral felt his confidence collapse. This was supposed to be easy. Humans were supposed to fall like insects. Instead, his proud fleet was breaking. This cannot be, he whispered. They are primitive. They are nothing. But the void did not lie. More of his ships burned, their wreckage scattering across the stars. Finally, the human captain spoke, his voice carried across the open channel. You came to erase us. You came believing we would kneel. Look now. Even one of our ships is enough to make you fear. His words cut deeper than any weapon. The council admiral gave the order to retreat. What remained of his fleet pulled back, limping and broken. But they did not leave in silence. They swore vengeance. They swore the full council armada would come. On Karos, the colony survived. Buildings were scarred, shields broken, but the people stood tall. They had seen the truth with their own eyes. Humanity was not weak. The captain of the human vessel looked at his crew. His face was calm, but his words were heavy. They will come again. Not with one fleet, but with many. And when they do, every human will have to stand. His ship turned, vanishing once more into the shadows of space. Far away in the council chamber, panic erupted. Reports of the failed strike arrived. Species that had voted for war now argued, shouting over each other. They defeated an entire fleet with one ship. No, there must be a trick, some hidden weapon. If one ship can do this, what happens when they send more? The speaker tried to restore order, but his voice was drowned by fear. For the first time, the council began to wonder if they had made a mistake. But it was already too late. The first strike had been made, and humanity had answered. Fear spreads through the council. The council chamber no longer felt like the heart of order. Once, its tall silver walls and glowing banners had stood for peace among the stars. Now the same hall shook with fear and anger. The vote to attack humanity had already been cast, yet the first reports from the frontier made the delegates restless. The speaker raised his wing, calling for calm, but the chamber buzzed like a hive. Every delegate had heard the news. One human ship had faced a fleet and the fleet had broken. This is false, shouted the Iraq delegate, slamming his claws on the desk. No single vessel can do this, they are lying. A representative from the Lissari Alliance, calm but pale, replied, I have seen the recordings. They are real. Their ship moved, like nothing we know. Their weapons tore through shields as if they were paper. Our fleets are not prepared for this kind of enemy. Murmurs spread. Some were angry, some were afraid, some sat in silence, unable to believe what they had heard. One elder from the Shar Dominion leaned forward, his voice trembling. We warned you. We told you they were not to be provoked. Humanity has always been patient, but never weak. Did you think they came into the stars with empty hands? No. They came with teeth hidden in the dark. Fear-mongering, barked another delegate. They are still only one world. They do not have the numbers. They cannot fight all of us. But another voice rose, shaking with doubt. And yet one world has already defeated dozens of ours. Tell me, what happens when they send more ships? What happens if their colonies rise together? Will you gamble our entire council against that? The speaker tried again, his voice echoing. We must remain united. This is not the time for fear. Humanity struck only because they were attacked. If we bring the full might of the council fleets, they cannot stand. But the chamber was no longer united. One group demanded immediate invasion. Crush them before they gather strength, they cried. Another group begged for retreat. Stop this madness, seek peace before we lose everything. And between them, a dangerous split began to form. Far from the chamber, in the quiet halls of the intelligence guild, hidden reports were brought forward. Data files showed old discoveries, secrets long ignored. They revealed that centuries ago, when humanity had first stepped into the stars, they had already begun building massive hidden docks and remote systems. Rumors told of sleeping war, machines, ships so vast they could block out the light of suns. No one had believed it. They thought humans were bluffing, trying to look strong. But now, after Karos, those old whispers felt real. Back in the chamber, the arguments turned, bitter. One delegate shouted, if we back down now, they will see weakness, they will strike us next. Another shouted back, if we press forward, we invite our destruction. The humans are not prey, they are hunters. The speaker slammed his staff. Sparks flew, silencing the room for a heartbeat. Enough. We voted for war, and war we shall have. The fleets are already moving. Humanity must fall. But even as he spoke, his eyes betrayed doubt. In a private corridor, 2 delegates whispered. "They are not like us," said one. "Every species here needed centuries of guidance to build peace. But humans, they came from chaos, and they carried chaos with them. They make weapons before they make art. They learn war before they learn peace. If we cannot control them, perhaps we truly cannot survive them." "Then why fight them at all?" the other asked. "If we kill them, their vengeance may burn forever, and if we fail, then what becomes of us?" Neither had an answer. Meanwhile, humanity's silence was louder than any words. They sent no replies to the Council's declarations, no messages of peace, no threats, nothing, only quiet. That quiet made the Council uneasy, because silence meant planning, silence meant waiting, and silence was something humanity had always turned into strength. On the outer colonies, alien civilians began to whisper. Markets buzzed with fear. Traders avoided human space, afraid their ships would vanish. Refugees from Cairo spoke of a single Terran vessel, cutting through fleets like fire through paper. Some began to ask questions too dangerous for the Council. Why did we start this war? Why provoke a species that never broke its word? Why fear those who only defended themselves? The Council's image of unity cracked. Back in the chamber, one final message arrived. A recording from the retreating admiral who had survived the battle at Kairos. His voice was broken, his eyes hollow. I faced them. One ship, just one, and it destroyed us. If they have more like it, then this war is already lost. Forgive me. The recording ended. Silence filled the chamber again, and in that silence fear spread deeper than ever before. The final shock. The council chamber was no longer a place of law. Delegates shouted, fought, even walked out in rage. Once they had stood united against humanity. Now, they feared not humanity's weakness, but humanity's silence, patience, and hidden strength. The speaker's feathers drooped as he slammed his staff again. "We must restore order," he cried. "We cannot let fear destroy us." But fear had already won. Far beyond the chamber, on the edge of council space, a new shadow appeared. At first, patrol fleets thought it was a comet. It moved slow, vast, and silent. But as it drew closer, the truth became clear. It was not a comet. It was a ship. And not just a ship. It was a world. A planet-sized human warship, cloaked in armor and armed with weapons no alien mind could understand. It drifted like a moving city, its surface bristling with cannons, its engines shaking space itself. The council had whispered about such things, legends of sleeping giants, but they had never believed, until now. Panic spread across the council's fleets. Ships pulled back, refusing to engage. Captains begged for orders, but no orders could come. Who dares order soldiers to fight against a world that moves? Messages flooded the chamber. Our patrols have fled. The humans? They have revealed something impossible. They will wipe us all away. The delegates turned on each other, shouting louder than ever. You caused this war. You ignored the warnings. You voted for their destruction. Now it is ours. In the shadows of the chamber, the human envoy stepped forward at last. He had been silent since the war began, watching, waiting. Now every eye turned to him. His black cloak swayed as he walked to the center. He looked around the room, not with fear, but with calm. You thought humanity was weak, he said softly. You thought we were prey. But you forgot one truth. We come from a world where everything tried to kill us. We survived storms that would shatter your cities. We survived beasts larger than your ships. We survived each other. And still, we rose. The chamber fell into silence. The envoy's voice sharpened. You voted for war. And now, You will live with the war you created. We did not ask for this, but we will finish it. At that moment, the massive Terran warship moved into Council space. Entire fleets scrambled to intercept, but before they could fire, the ship released its power. The stars themselves seemed to darken. Gravity bent, energy rippled across the void. Council ships lost control, their weapons useless. Some fell into each other, others broke apart as their systems failed. Not a single human weapon fired. The warship had not even attacked. Its presence alone was enough to crush the will of an armada. Across the galaxy, the message was clear. Humanity had revealed only a fragment of its strength, and even that was enough to silence the stars. Some alien worlds surrendered instantly. Others swore neutrality. A few, too proud to admit defeat, fled into exile, their leaders vanishing, into the black. The Council, once the most powerful alliance in the galaxy, was broken. Back in the chamber, the speaker's voice trembled. "What do you want from us?" The human envoy looked at him, his eyes cold but steady. "Respect," he said. "We will not kneel. We will not bow. We will not be erased. If you come again with chains, you will find only fire." He turned, walking away as the chamber echoed with silence. On Earth, the commander of Terran Defense stood before her officers as news came in. The Council had fractured. Humanity had survived. One officer smiled. "We won." But the commander shook her head. "No, this is not victory. This is a warning to the galaxy. We wanted peace. They gave us war, and now they will think twice before bringing war again." Her eyes hardened. "Let the galaxy remember. Humanity is not to be feared for its rage, but for its patience. And patience is always waiting." Out among the stars, the great human warship drifted, silent once more. Its cannons dimmed, its engines quieted. To many, it looked like a planet again, lifeless and still. But those who had seen it knew better. It was not lifeless. It was watching, and every world in the galaxy now whispered the same truth. The Council's greatest mistake was waking humanity.